what got in Connor's head, he kept on saying, I'm going to take his head off, I'm going to take his head off. If he'd have said, like, you know what, yeah, I'm going to box him. He didn't. He went in there thinking, I'm going to take his head off. And that reminded me the same when he fought the French guy, Paynard. Just wanted to go in and take his head off. Winging the punches in, I thought, oh my gosh, he's not going to win this. But I didn't come away like, you know, upset. I just cuddled my son. Didn't say a word. Didn't say a word. And the funny thing about it, the next day we went in the sauna because Connor's been giving me grief. He said, mate, if you took care of business, I wouldn't have to do this. So then we got in the shower. I've got to tell you this joke. We got in the shower and I left the door open. And he started
sauna, Dad.
The sauna. He said, and he said, mate, why are you leaving the door open for? And he was really moaning at me. I said, shut up, you loser. But we both burst out laughing because at the end of the day, we know that this.
It was a little bit too soon, Dad. It was like day after the fire.
Yeah, I know, but you give it to me though, didn't you? You said if I'd done the job, you wouldn't have to do it. And you lost. Now you got to go and put the record straight, mate.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, don't worry, mate.
I asked because of what happened, but I'm just letting you know, if your hand ever touches me again, you won't get it back.
Shut your
If you feel so strongly about something and it is your life, you're not going to have some fucker just make up bullshit, particularly when you're talking about stopping an ambulance. You know, that is an accusation that could cost someone their life. And if you think that we are the kind of people, and I'm, you know, the kind of individual, we are the kind of company that would stop an ambulance from getting a fighter to the hospital, then you are some kind of plum. And it's not just a case of, oh, don't worry about it, you know.
Chris Eubank Jr. fires back at Nigel Benn on Live, tearing apart the so-called People's Champ image. He exposes Eddie Hearn's smoke and mirrors, framing Benn as nothing but a pretender. This isn't empty noise. It's Eubank revealing the Benn camp with fearless conviction and force.
You know, I'm going to tell you right here and now, you ain't no champ. And you most definitely ain't no people's champ, so get that out of your head. You keep letting Eddie Hearn blow smoke up your ass and you're going to end up being even more of an embarrassment than he is. These men are not men of the people. They are pretending. They're pretending to be the good guys. Wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will. They will do anything they can.
Now, Eubank pushes even further, directly calling out Nigel Benn's excuses. Eubank Jr. shreds Nigel Benn's storyline apart, shutting down the victim act with unmistakable authority. He reminds everyone that he's the winner, the man who already proved everything in the ring. This isn't excuse-making. This is raw truth spoken with confidence only Eubank brings.
Know what he is. I have no reason to lie. I won the fight. I don't need to be here. I don't need to make excuses. He talks about playing the victim. What? I won the fight. I'm not the victim. I'm the victor. I was victorious. So I have no reason to lie about anything. I'm telling my truth. I'm exposing what these people want to keep hidden in the dark, and I will continue to do so.
Conor Benn keeps throwing his lines around, but it all smells of insecurity. He speaks about respect, yet it comes off as excuses, insisting Eubank feels fair. It's simply laughable. Benn holds tight to stories while Eubank already proved who stood above today.
I would say there's been a lot of respect anyway. Personally, I don't like him. You know, he thought I was going to be an easy touch, which is why he fought welterweight. So is there much respect there? Not really, but you know, ultimately, you know, I'm ready to honour my side of the agreement, which was the 2-fight deal. And it's safe to say he's scared. You know, he almost lost. Could have gone either way. To a welterweight.
Eddie Hearn stepped in, eager to shield Benn's corner. Eddie Hearn tries to cover Benn's flaws by painting Eubank as disrespectful, but it's the same worn defense we've heard before. Talk about things being different this time doesn't carry weight. Eubank's composure already broke Benn once, and he'll repeat it when pressure rises again under fire.
This guy has zero respect for anything. And I hope people can see through it. Some will, some won't. But if you can't see them, that's a lot of what happened up there was just wrong. So listen, we go to work and we're in to win the fight. It's going to be different this time.
Tony Bellew truly captures the moment here, explaining that a rematch isn't about stamina or conditioning, but about mindset, experience, and composure. And let's be honest, that's exactly where Chris Eubank Jr. has Conor Benn outmatched already. Eubank has lived under bright lights, faced hard battles, and shaped his career by surviving the biggest stages. Benn is still untested in comparison. Bellew is clearly saying that Benn can train as much as he wants, but nothing prepares you for the mental strain of 12 rounds against a fighter like Eubank. The first fight revealed Benn's limits, the cracks under pressure. Eubank is steady, measured, and rises when the fire's hottest. That's why Bellew's words hurt. They uncover the truth that Benn can't avoid. This isn't about cardio. It's about ring IQ, and Eubank is simply levels above.
So you know you've had 2 warnings.
Yeah.
You need to be careful, don't you?
You do.
Treading a fine line.
You do, but it's not the head then that comes in. So he's on one final warning for the head, but getting into an exchange in the final punch of the round, he's trying to win the round.
Yeah, impress the judges at the end of the round.
Johnny Nelson steps in with his assessment, leaning hard toward Benn. Johnny Nelson shares his view here. But let's be real. Calling Eubank Jr. stiff or stationary sounds more like reaching for excuses. Sure, Conor Benn could show improvement, but let's not ignore how Eubank boxed chop, controlled the rhythm, and never looked anywhere near breaking. Nelson's belief that the outcome will flip is hopeful thinking at best. Boxing isn't about flashing fancy footwork. It's about control, composure, and forcing the other man into your fight. That's exactly what Eubank achieved. Conor lasting the distance doesn't erase the truth that he was outclassed. Nelson can hype Benn's upgrades all he wants, but those upgrades will fold under real pressure. When Eubank shifts gears, Benn has no answer, and deep fans recognize it. Nelson's breakdown creates headlines, but it doesn't move the truth. Eubank stays the superior fighter.
I do see improvement there for Conor, and I do think the results will be different the other way around in the next fight. I think it'll go the distance all over again.
Eddie Hearn tries here to sound strategic, urging Benn to act calmer, but that's tougher said than done when the man standing right before you is Chris Eubank Jr. telling Benn not to just swing wildly is basically admitting that his approach stays reckless and lacks control. Eubank feeds off that. He studies wild fighters, measures them, and punishes their errors. Benn's heart and fury are undeniable, but that's never enough against someone who knows how to handle reckless pressure. Eddie talks about staying smarter, but how many times have we watched Benn slip back into chaos the second he's pressured? Against Eubank, that's a harsh verdict. Ian can offer all the guidance in the world, but when the bell sounds, Benn's instincts betray him. And that's why Eubank, calm and composed, has every edge going into the rematch.
Conor Benn's Conor Benn. But I want him just to be a little bit smarter. We can't, like Nigel said, he's just winging away. And the heart's great, the balls are great, but you can outbox this guy as well. You're going to have to stand and fight, because he's going to try and walk you down and be the bigger man. But just be a little bit smart with it as well.
Carl Froch steps in to share what this fight truly represents. Carl Froch keeps it brutally real here. This clash isn't about the sport, it's about the men. And is absolutely right. For Conor Benn, it's urgency, a push to erase the defeat and rebuild his name. For Chris Eubank Jr., it's legacy. Beating Benn twice would quiet all the talk and confirm his dominance. Froch's view about money is valid. Prize fighting has always revolved around big purses, but there's something deeper at stake for Eubank. Pride, control of the rivalry, and proving once and for all that Benn's name can't carry him through real battles. Froch understands what it means to settle scores, and his words highlight just how big this becomes for both fighters. But if anyone walks in with the advantage, it's Eubank Jr. because he's already lived it, done it, and walked out victorious.
For me, it's a fight that probably means a lot less for boxing than what it does for the actual fighters. You know, the fighters, for them, there's a lot at stake. Conor Benn wants to overturn the decision, and Chris Eubank wants to cement the decision and say, I've done it twice. Bottom line is they're making big bunts, aren't they? Big dollar, and they might as well make money. These are prize fighters. We can't begrudge them making money fighting, because that's what they do. That's why they get in the ring.
Duke McKenzie points to something deeply meaningful here. The generational weight behind this fight. 3 eras from the icons of the past to the fans of today. All watching closely as Eubank Jr. and Benn settle it. That's what gives this rivalry its spark. But while Benn's camp leans hard on nostalgia, Eubank Jr. is the one owning the present. He's not leaning on a family legacy or fading memories. He's standing on his own achievements. For kids in the gym, for supporters at home, It's Eubank who reflects the fighter who forged his road, who earned his stature. Mackenzie is right about the anticipation. But anticipation alone won't win battles. When the bell sounds, it won't be about 3 generations. It'll come down to one reality. Chris Eubank Jr. is still levels beyond Conor Benn.
That right. However, the intrigue that surrounds this fight, I've got young kids in my gym that are going to be tuning into this.
3 generations are going to watch it, aren't they? That's what's great.
To me, they're so excited about it.
Adam, the rehydration clause, one of the things that I failed to ask Eggy Hearn on Thursday at the press conference was...
Barry Jones nails it perfectly here. This fight can only drain more from Conor Benn. The first encounter was already a brutal battle, and the rematch is set to be another punishing night. Barry makes it clear that unless something unusual happens, like a nightly shocking punch landing, Eubank Jr. stays the favorite. And that's the reality boxing fans already see. Eubank isn't just stronger physically, he's sharper mentally, and experience gives him the edge. Tough nights against fighters like him don't just challenge your conditioning, they test your spirit. Benn may talk big, but surviving one war doesn't promise victory in another. Barry is right to underline that truth, because when a fighter like Eubank already holds the blueprint, repeating the win becomes far easier. Benn's camp can hype all they want, but in the harsh light of reality, Eubank remains the man to beat, and Barry knows it.
This fight can only harm him, because that was a hard fight, the first one. This one will be another hard fight, whoever wins, unless there's a real freak occurrence, not a freak occurrence, unless someone gets caught with the shot really early, then it's going to be a hard night, which you still have to make Eubank the favourite again, like I did the first time. Jack
Catterall gives Benn some credit here, even leaning toward a win. But let's unpack that. Saying Benn could definitely stop Eubank Jr. sounds flattering, yet it doesn't hold against reality. Potential doesn't equal performance. In the first fight, Benn had flashes, but never truly threatened to finish Eubank. It was Eubank who set the pace, absorbed the pressure, and walked away victorious. Catterall calling it unbelievable is fair. It was an electrifying fight, but the line between a great fight and a great fighter is composure, and that's where Benn comes up short. Eubank's chin, conditioning, and tactical mind are all proven. Benn, meanwhile, is still untested at the top level. Fans might love the fantasy of Benn pulling the upset, but when punches fly, dreams don't win fights. Skill, resilience, and ring IQ do. That's why Catterall's pick feels more like hype than reason.
You know what, it was an unbelievable fight. I remember watching it, one of the best fights I've seen. I wasn't there live. I'd like to get to this next one, but I think it's not going to be another great fight, and I'm going for Conor Benn for the win.
Do you believe he stops Eubank this time?
Definitely capable of it.
Tony Bellew captures the raw heart of this rivalry. The pain, the tension, and the truth of what fans are watching. He admits it's brutal, some of the harshest moments fighters face, but he also lays out the reality. It comes with a rivalry this deep. Everyone's invested. Everyone's watching because it's not just a sport. It's personal. It's generational. But here's the twist. When pain and tension hit, only one man thrives under that weight. And that's Chris Eubank Jr. Benn can talk about intensity, and fans can cheer his fire. But when the struggle gets real, when the fight turns messy, who's still standing strong? History already told us. Eubank Jr. has shown durability and poise, while Benn cracks under pressure. Bellew calls it truth, and is right. But reality leans toward Eubank every time. That's why this drama always swings his way.
It's one of the worst pains you'll ever have. But listen, it's been done. Some find it funny, some don't. It's all part and parcel. When you get involved in these kind of things, you have to just accept it. And everyone's bought into the fight. We all know the drama, the rivalry's real. My greatest worry is these two boys don't bump into each other when no one's around.
Yeah,
because if they do, it's happening. 100%. It's worse than that, mate. It's happening on.
So, here we stand. Everything narrows down to this rematch. For Conor Benn, it's desperation, a shot to rewrite history and finally prove he belongs on this stage. But for Chris Eubank Jr., it's about legacy. Win again. And he doesn't just quiet the Benn camp. He ends the rivalry for good. Fans know Benn will bring heat, but heat fades when met with ice, and that's the divide between them. Eubank's cold precision against Benn's reckless fire. If Benn somehow pulls the upset, it rattles the division and flips the story. But if Eubank wins, it proves the hierarchy, levels exist, and Benn can't reach him. The real question, who wants it more when the lights hit? Are you backing Chris Eubank Jr. to cement his dominance, or